Okay, we are live on.
Perfect.
We'll begin in 1 minute.
Sure.
Broadcasting now. अब कैमरा ऑन करना. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the student joint.
Perfect. So,
hello everyone. Welcome to this online bootcamp on nurture, and we have with us Coach Aditi. A very good evening, Coach Aditi.
good evening, sir.
And as you can see, the topics are mentioned. So we'll be covering all the topics in 2 days, in 4 hours. Tomorrow also at the same time, 2-hour camp will be conducted.
Yeah.
After the class, we'll be sending an online test to everyone for the attendee on email. And within 1 hour, you have to finish the test and mail it and submit the test. After submitting only, we'll be checking the papers and distributing certificate of completion to everyone. So those of you who will be successfully passing, they would be transiting to the level 2 in the camp and only will be given complimentary camp ahead. Those of who successfully not passing will have to appear again for the examination. So I will just starting with a basic poll, just to check whether people have basic knowledge of chess. And will be just a very basic poll. You guys have to answer one answer of all the options. So I'm just launch the poll for everyone. So you can answer only one correct. So it will give the coaches also an idea about how much you guys know. So very basic 5 questions. I request the attendees to vote for the right answers or the answer they think is right.
Perfect. 100%.
For those of you joining late, we have started with a basic poll for beginners, and then Aditi ma'am will be taking over the session. We'll be giving 40 seconds more to everyone to answer. Yes, most of students are answering correct, but
Yeah.
some are answering some are answering incorrect. So I'm ending the poll and sharing the survey.
Perfect.
So this was, I guess most of the people answered correctly.
3 questions are 100%.
Yeah.
Correct.
So over to you, ma'am, and you can now share your screen and take over the session.
Perfect. So, hello students. First of all, we are going to cover basics today about the chessboard. Let me share my screen.
You all can use chat box to interact with the mentor, and if you have any question, use Q&A box. So you can use chat box to interact with the mentor during the session, and if you have any question, use Q&A box.
So, okay, so my board is visible to everyone, right? Okay, perfect. So, all of you just, can you tell me your names so that I can be able to know your names? Sam, okay. Nishara, okay. Aradhe Gupta, okay. Yasir, okay. Okay, so hello everyone. So can you tell me, okay, hi, hello everyone, perfect. Okay, so who is going to tell me something about chess? Anyone know about chess a little bit? Okay, so let me tell you, chess is a board game which is originated from India. Okay, many of you, I guess, have voted for Russia also. Some of you, I mean. But chess is a game which is originated from India only. Okay, so is my board is visible? Are you able to see the squares? Can anyone tell me how many squares are there on a chessboard? Any of you? Nishara, Radhe, Sam. Okay, Nishara said 64. Balbir. Okay, 64. Very good. Okay, Sam. Very good. So, chessboard has total 64 squares. Okay, but if I count like that, yeah. Okay, Yasir, Amit, very good. Okay, if I count one square like this, these all are, if we count all these squares, then it is 64. But suppose if we are counting that way, suppose I'm saying how many total squares on a chessboard. So you have to think, it's not actually about chess, but yeah, it's basically some people ask sometimes this kind of question just for fun, that how many total squares are there on a chessboard. So what they exactly mean that, like how many total squares. So you have to count four like two dark squares and two light squares as one square, like this. Let me show you. Like this is again a square, if you can see that. So you can even try it at your home. So we are not going to see or count those squares right now, but now we are going to talk about some important basic part of chess. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you. Okay, any one of you know about the slanting line or sleeping line of chess? Okay, see, this is a sleeping line, right? And in chess, yeah, horizontal or vertical, we can say horizontal or vertical, or in more easier way, we can say standing or sleeping line. So do you know about this? How many horizontal or vertical lines are there on a chessboard? If anyone know, can tell me. Yeah, yes, 8. Exactly. There are 8. Yeah, perfect, Balbir. So there are total 8 sleeping line, or we can say horizontal line, and 8 vertical, or we can say standing lines. Okay, but in chess we are not going to use standing or sleeping or horizontal or vertical words. We have another names for this. Okay, so for standing line or vertical line, we call it files. If yes, perfect. Balbir knows file and rank. File are standing or vertical lines, and ranks are those sleeping, or we can say horizontal line. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Can anyone tell me what is the center of the chessboard? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. E4, E5, D4, D5. Right. So I can see some of you are knowing the notation as well. This is very, very fine. Yeah, perfect. E4, E5, D4, and D5. Okay, very good. So E4, E5, D4, D5, D5, D4, E4, and E5. This is the center of the board. Okay. So, and what about the corners? Can anyone tell me the corners? Yeah, A8, A1, H8, okay. A1 is done, H1, perfect. This is the corner of the board. Okay, so some of you are knowing the notations as well, but we are going to cover it too because many of you are maybe not aware of it. Okay. So first of all, you guys are understood about the files and the ranks perfectly. See, these all these standing line, or we can say vertical lines, are files. And for files, what we use alphabets, right? Okay, tell me, are you able to see those alphabets written on the chessboard? These A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Yes, perfect. So we use alphabets to denote file, right? To denote file on the chessboard, we use alphabets. Okay, that is for files, right? And for ranks, we use numbers. Also, numbers are visible. Okay, I can see Balbir and Sam and Amit. Okay, Sandra. Okay, okay, you guys are answering correctly. Very good. So these are ranks on chessboard. These horizontal lines are known as ranks. Okay, so I guess I should not. Okay, perfect. Now see, these numbers and these alphabets. What is the use of these numbers and these alphabets? Can anyone tell me? Perfect. Yes. Square. Giving notations. Yes. To keep record. Yes. Perfect. So you have given me different answer, but all are correct here. So these alphabet and these number together represent a square, and it is used to write notation to keep record. Perfect. Very good. Okay. So apart from standing line and standing or sleeping line, or horizontal or vertical, there is another thing on chessboard which is known as slanting line, but in chess we call it diagonals. Do you know about it? Do you know about diagonals? Yes, perfect. Nishara, yes. Sandra, you know, very good. Okay, so if you guys, okay, Yasir, if you guys are knowing about diagonals, so can anyone tell me how many uh, longest diagonals are there on a chessboard? Yes, Tanay? Yes. Great. Nishara, correct? Uh-huh. Yasir? It's not 8. Amit, 2. Yes. Sandra, okay. A8 to H1. Okay. Sam, correct. Very correct. Okay. And Yasir, it's not 8. I asked how many longest diagonal are there on a chessboard, right? Yes. A8 to H1 and A1 to H8, said Balbir. Very good. And Yasir, 2. Yes. Yes. So those who have given me answer 2 is correct. Also, Balbir and Sandra is giving the correct answer. See, what are diagonals? On a chessboard, if you can see these slanting lines, right? These all are slanting lines. See, these light square diagonal, dark square diagonal. Okay, these all are what? Slanting lines. But in chess, we call it diagonals. Okay, this way and also this way, right? Okay, So these all are diagonals. So out of these, I was asking about the longest diagonal, because there are many diagonals. We can draw as many as diagonal. See, this is also a diagonal, right? This is also a diagonal, and this is also a diagonal, right? But out from these all, we have to find the longest diagonal, which is having the maximum number of squares. Okay, so suppose if I'm asking how many square are there in this diagonal, so you're going to count like 1 2 3 4 5, right? There are only 5 diagonal squares in this diagonal, right? But we have to search that diagonal which is having the maximum number of squares. Okay, okay, first tell me, are you able to see two different colors of these squares? Yes. Okay, so what we can call those colors? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically we usually use white and black. White and black, yes, this is not wrong, but let me tell you, yeah, Sam is correct, light and dark instead of white and black, because if you can see, this color is brown. The color of my chessboard, dark square is colored with a brown color, and the white color is not exactly the white. It is a kind of mixed creamish color. Okay, so we cannot use white and black. We basically use light and dark, right? Yeah, almost correct. So that's why, because you also have seen a chessboard in which there is a green color for dark square. Dark square is represented by green or blue color somewhere, or maybe, and mostly actually somewhere they use black color, they use brown, they use green. There are a lot of color. We can fill it with any color, but that actually represent the dark square. Okay, so that's why we call it dark. Okay, just because it is colored. So there are two kinds of squares. One is light square and another is dark square. Okay, perfect. And so just because there are two kind of squares, so there would be two kinds of diagonal, right? Yeah. Yeah, you can ask, Sandra. So diagonals are of two colors, we can say. One is dark. This is a dark square diagonal, right? And if you can see, this is light, right? So we usually use it when we have a so we usually use it for when we have different bishops on different squares, right? Okay, so now I asked you about the longest diagonal. Okay, so the longest diagonal starts from the corner of the chessboard. So you just told me about the corners like A1, A8, H1 and H8. These four squares are what? The corner of the chessboard, right? So the longest diagonal on the chessboard is going to start from the corner of the chessboard and going through the center, right? So we can count those squares. Okay, so count with me. A1, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the last one is 8. There are 8 squares in this diagonal. This diagonal consists of 8 dark squares. Is it? Yes? Yes or no? And if you can see, yes. And if you can see, these 8 squares, Just see the light squares now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 8 squares. Okay, for light, I'll change the color. Okay. So, yes. So, 8 squares are there in this light squares diagonal and this dark square diagonal. These two diagonals are the longest diagonal of the chessboard. Okay, only these two. Now if you can count any of the diagonal, it will be lesser than 8. It will be consist of less than 8 squares. Like if you can count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7. Okay, except the center, if you count any diagonal on the chessboard, it will not be having 8 squares. Okay. Okay. Now, now we are going to know about something about notations. Okay, many of you know about this, but let me tell you once again so that it will be more easier for you to clear. Yeah, Sandra, you know notations, but we are going to learn it again so that if you have any doubt in this, you can clear it. Right? All right. Now, if you can see, I told you files are denoted. Yeah, files are denoted with alphabets. Okay, and ranks are denoted by numbers. Okay, this is clear to you. Okay, now we are going to know about squares. So suppose if I tell you this square, about this dark squares in the corner of the chessboard, which okay, you have to tell me this square that I have highlighted with green color is belongs to which file. I'm asking about only file. This highlighted square, I'm asking about file. No. See, yes, I'm asking this highlighted square belongs to which file? Is it A, B, C, D? Yes. So Sam is correct, Sandra is correct. Now Nishara and Balbir is correct. And what about rank? If I ask you about rank, which rank? Yes. So it is first rank, right? So now if I ask you which square is this, so you can easily tell me. First you have to write, or you have to write you have to say, or you have to write the alphabet that is for file, and then after alphabet you have to write ranks name, ranks number. First you have to write the file name and then ranks number. So it is going like that. Yeah. So this square, this square is A1, just because it belongs to A file. Also, it belongs to first rank, right? Okay. So now I'm going to ask you some random squares. Okay, you have to tell me. Okay, this. What about this? Very good. Nishara, Sandra, very good. Yasser, yes. Balbir, correct. Very correct. Okay. Now you have to tell me about this square. Yes, very good. Very good, Nishara, Sandra, Balbir, Yasser, very good. Okay. Now this. Very good. Very good. So I guess notation is already very good. G6, yes. So you all know about notations. So we are going to do something else. Okay. So we are going to know about something about pieces. So can anyone tell me how many pieces are there in White's army? Yes, very good. 16 pieces. And in Black's, exactly the same. We are not going to place 15 pieces or 14 pieces for our opponent. It is same for both the sides. Okay, because it is a kind of battle, you know. Yeah, total 32. In total, there are 32 pieces, and it is a kind of, you know, in chessboard, we are actually playing a battle, right? So we can even consider this chessboard as our battlefield, and all the pieces which is in our favor, which is on our side, is our army. Yeah, it's a kind of battle. Not too scary. We have to use our brain to win this battle. We are not going to beat someone physically. No, we are going to beat someone mentally, you know. Yeah. So we have, okay, so there are 16, yeah, mental battle, we can say. So this is our chessboard, which is our battleground here. Okay. Okay, now tell me how many types of pieces you know. Types of, I'm asking about types of, I'm not asking about anything. Just, yeah. 6. Yeah, numbers. Just tell me the numbers and nothing. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Perfect. Okay. Now what we are going to do. So you all know there are 6 kind of different pieces. Okay. Let me introduce you guys with our first piece. So here is our first piece. Okay, are you able to see the first piece? We'll start it from rook, right? Yeah. Okay. So the name of this piece is, obviously, you all know, rook. Okay. This is the name. Yeah, we can say wall because we rooks, the initial position of rooks are in the corners, like a wall. Yeah, rook is on e5 right now. Just for an example, we are going to know about the rook. Okay, so okay, if you all know about rook, now can you tell me the value of this piece and how it moves? Yes, perfect. So the value of this piece, no, not 6, no, Balbi, not 6 points. Yeah, I'm going to tell you about this too. Okay. So, vertical. Yeah, rook moves in files and ranks, like vertical and horizontal, not in diagonals. It will not move on diagonals, and it can move as far as you want, like this way, this way, this, and this. If there is no any hurdle in between, hurdle is like, yeah, hurdle, like, if suppose if there is your pawn somewhere, yeah, this is, yeah, the rook is actually, right now there is nothing on the chessboard, so we can, the file on which this rook is placed is an open file. Okay, right? half open file, we'll discuss it about in middle games, because right now we are talking about this piece. Okay. And so for basics, you just have to know like what are files that you know. And now we are just coming to the pieces. Okay, so open files and half open files, we'll cover it in the middle games, not in this basics, because it will confuse you, right? So see, this rook. Okay, can you tell me on which square this rook is right now? Yeah, d5. Very good, very good, very good. Okay, so first we'll start it from the introduction. Suppose this is a piece. He is coming to meet you all, guys. Okay, so he's going to give you his introduction, right? So in introduction, usually we ask about name. So the name of this piece is rook, you all know. Okay, symbol. Symbol, we use it in it for writing the notations. Like you all know the notations of squares, right? But how can we know if there is some piece? Okay, Gautam, good evening. I guess you didn't, you were not there before. Okay, so if there is any piece, how could we know? That's why we have symbol of each and every piece. So for rook, the symbol is R. Yes, correct. Okay, now the value of this piece. Value. Why we use value? Okay, no issues. Yeah, 5. Very good, Gautam. Value is 5. Okay, can anyone tell me why we use value? Okay, Sandra, if you don't know, now you can know. The value of rook is 5, right? Okay, so can anyone tell me why I was asking like, why we use values? Why we have to read about this thing? Values. What does it mean in chess? Anyone? Yeah. Very good, Balbi. Value for rook. Value of rook is 5 to know its strength. Yeah, exactly. The strength. If I ask you about, if I ask you, suppose there is a queen and there is a rook. So, or maybe there is a rook or there is a pawn. So, how can you tell me that who is more strong? Who is stronger? Obviously, the queen. If there is a queen or the rook, then queen would be powerful, more powerful. Or if there is a rook or a pawn, so you have to tell me who is stronger. So just for that, just to know their strength, we have these values. Okay. Okay. So name, you know, symbol, you know, value, you all know. Now, how it moves. Okay. How it moves. Okay, Gautam, rook, the value for rook is 5, not 1. Yeah. Now, the question is how rook moves. So we have to know about this too. So I told you like rook can move on ranks in both the side, left or right, and up and down. Okay. If there is no hurdle in between, so you can place the rook as far as you want, but in horizontal or vertical. Okay. Okay, this is about rook. Now, this is the time to introduce. Okay, but one more thing. You all know about how rook moves, but can anyone tell me how rook attacks? How rook attacks or capture the piece. Yeah, how rook capture the piece. Like, is there any other move for rook, or he's going to capture the piece who comes in its way, like horizontally or vertically? If suppose, okay, yeah, just a moment. Let me uh, arrange something, arrange a position for you. And then you have to answer. Okay. So this is there is some enemies. Okay. I have introduced some enemies too. Just to tell you, just for you guys to tell me how, which, okay, tell me which, yeah, right. So rook is going to capture, there are 4 enemies. Out of these 4, you have to tell me, yeah, you have to tell me, like, this rook is going to capture which 2 enemies. Tell me the square names, right? Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yes. So there are only 2 enemies that rook is capturing, right? One is d2 and another is f5, not f3 or c7. Why? Because rook can only capture the piece which comes in its way. Can rook move diagonally? No. That's why rook cannot capture this f3 pawn, right? Okay. Now this is the time to know about another piece. Okay, let me ask if he can come to meet us. Let me see who is our next guest. Okay. So guest has reached. Are you able to see? There are 2 this time, right? Are you able to see the board and the guest? Yes. Okay, so Sandra already know the name of this guest, right? Yes. Nishara also. Yes. Very good. Very good. Okay, very good. So you all are knowing name of this, but as they both are our guests, so we have to take the introduction, right? Right or not? Right. So we are going to take their introduction as well. So what we are going to ask, first name, right? So name you all know, they are Bishop. Bishop. Okay. Symbol. Anyone wants to tell the symbol? Sandra, I'm asking about symbol. Yes, Balbir is correct. Nishara is correct. So the symbol is B. We use the first letter of that word. Okay. So the symbol is obviously B. Okay, now I'm going to ask them about their value. 3, 7. 7 for what? I don't understand. But 3, yes. The value of bishop is 3. Okay. After this, I'm going to tell you a very interesting topic on this. A very interesting thing on this value stuff. 7 is stronger knight. I don't understand this. 7 is a stronger knight. Okay. So here our guest name is Bishop, symbol is B, right? And value is 3. Very good, Yasir and Balbir. Yes, Sandra, 3. Okay, now how it moves. How it moves. Yes. Only diagonally, right? It cannot move to files or to ranks. Only diagonals. And that too, their own specific diagonals. Like suppose this bishop on c4 is on light square. So it can move only on light squares, right? How it captures. Now tell me how it captures a piece. Anyone? Yes, diagonally. Yeah, like I'm asking about like the rook is going to capture its enemy on files and the ranks because rook moves on files and the ranks. So any enemy who comes in between his path or who is becoming the hurdle, he can capture that. But here with bishop, the same story, but in a different way. Because bishop can move on diagonals, not on files or ranks, so they can only capture those enemies who are coming in their ways. Okay, so this bishop on dark square can only move on dark squares like this, right? And similarly, this bishop on light square can only move on light squares. Oh, yeah. Okay, right? Right or wrong? Right. Okay, perfect. So now I'm introducing some enemies and you're going to tell me about the enemies who are going to be killed by our bishops. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, perfect. So are you able to see the enemies? There are a lot of enemies and all those are for example. Don't think like this pawn is on f1 so it would be a queen. No, this is for an example. Now you have to tell me with light square bishop how many enemies are killing. Light square bishop is killing how many enemies? Yes, Sandra, 3. Very good. b3. Okay, okay, f1. Very good, Balbir. Nishara, check it once more. Yes, Yasir, Nishara, and Sandra, correct. Sandra, why 7? 5? Okay. Now tell me how many enemies this dark square bishop is killing. Yes. Square name, tell me the square names of that particular enemies. F6, yes, F6 and C7. Correct, Nishara. Very good. Okay, now tell me. This is the highlighted enemy. Okay, I have highlighted an enemy. Now you have to tell me, is this enemy any of the bishop are killing this enemy? Yes or no? No. Right. No, exactly. No. Yes. Correct. So this is the one lucky, not this only, but these are lucky enemies. Okay. No one is capturing. Are there any more lucky enemy? No. Okay. No, there are not. Only these two are lucky enemies. So they got their lives back. Okay, this is about the bishop. And I hope you are very well known about this too. Now we are proceeding further. Okay, so here our next guest is coming. And the next guest is okay. The next guest has reached. Are you able to see our next guest? Q. Queen. Very good. So we already have known about this guest, but still, because it is our guest, so we have to take the introduction first. So in the introduction, what we are going to ask, name. Okay, the name is Queen. And symbol. Yes, Yasir. Ishara, correct. The symbol for this piece is Q. The first letter of the name. Right. Now, the value of this piece. Very good, very good. So everyone has known about this. The value of this piece is 9, exactly 9. Now the important part, how it moves. Okay, so yes. Yeah, perfect. Now listen. Horizontal, vertical, and diagonal. Perfect. Like a bishop and a rook. Very good. Yes, sir. Right. Very good. So this is our new guest who has the power of moving like a rook and like a bishop. Right? So if you can see, it can go here, back, and then upside, downside, left and right. Right? Are you able to see how it moves? See, queen can move diagonally and bishop also can move diagonally, but bishop lacks moving on files and ranks. So he cannot change the color, right? But queen can. So if queen is on dark square, it can move diagonally on that particular diagonal. Like if suppose the queen is on e5, so it can cover those dark diagonals as well. And horizontal and vertical file or rank, we can say. And if I shift this queen to here, now this queen is covering the light diagonal. Okay, is that clear to everyone? And she can also move as far as you want, right? On file, rank, or diagonal. Just remember file, rank, or diagonal. The value of this piece is 9. Symbol is Q. And name is Queen. Okay, so let me, okay, shall I introduce some enemies? Okay, let me introduce some enemies and then you have to tell me this queen is going to kill how many enemies because she is alone. Last time we have two. Yes. Okay. So here are some enemies. Okay. Are you guys able to see the enemies on the chessboard? Yes. Okay. Now tell me this queen. Okay, 5. This queen is killing how many enemies or and also the square names as well. Let's see. Okay, Yasser, just check it once. Yes, now correct. And anyone? Yes. Yes. Perfect. So the queen is attacking total 5 enemies out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of 9 enemies, the queen is attacking 5 enemies. Right. So if you can see this d3 is there, right? Now this, okay, tell me, is this enemy are under is under attack? Yes. What about this? Yes, perfect. What about this? Yes. This? Yes, perfect. Now tell me, what about this one? No. So I'll color it with red. What about this one? Again, no. Red. What about this? No. Yes. Okay. What about this? Yes, these are lucky enemies, obviously. So, and these are the enemies who are going to kill or captured by this queen. But these red, but these enemies, those are highlighted with this red. Okay, unlucky. Those enemies who are highlighted with this red, right, red square are the luckiest one. Okay, so queen cannot even touch those enemies. Perfect. So queen is, I guess queen is clear to you, to all of you. If yes, then text me yes. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so next guest is coming. Next guest is on the way. Okay, so he has reached. Now tell me if you are able to see him. Yes, exactly. Knight. Very good, very good, very good. Now, first, we are going to take the introduction. So first we are going to know about the name of this piece. So you all are aware of the name, that is knight. Okay. But the symbol is a bit different. Like before we are using the first letter of the name, but this time we are not going to take this K because we have to save this K for our the one and the most important piece, which is king. Yes, perfect. You all know. Very good. So we just save that K symbol for those. Okay. Right. So we are going to take the another letter just beside the K. What is there? N. And you all know, if we okay, the spelling of night is Knight, but when we pronounce it, we say night. Like there is day and night, Night types, right? So K is actually silent, so we don't consider it like in symbol. Yeah, K is silent. So what we are going to use? N. We are going to use N for this symbol, right? Okay. Now the value. Value of this piece. Who is going to tell me? Yes, exactly. Very good. Balbir, Yasir, Sandra, Amit, Nishara. Perfect. The value is again 3 like bishop. Okay. Bishop was another piece who is having the same value 3, and knight is also having the same value. Now comes the important, the I guess the complicated part, which is how knight moves. Okay. So anyone wants to tell? Yes. Yes, L shape. Very good. Okay. So if I can draw, yeah. So if I can draw, the exact L shape is this. Okay. L is this. But knight can move. Yeah, L shape. Correct. L shape is correct. Right. But we have to take this knight to upside, downside, left and right. All the side. All the ways. So for that, we have to, we have to change the position of this L. Okay. So let's see. One L is this. Another L that we are going to make here is this. Okay. So first square is this. Second is this. Correct? We just invert the L. And now this. Yes. Now we are going to make this L upside. We just made this downside vertically. Now we are going to make this L upside like this. So this is an L. This is another inverted L. I could say inverted. Right? So these are 4 squares. Now there are 4 more squares left. So if I see horizontally, okay, vertically is done. See, knight captures or covers vertically 8 squares. Okay, in L shape. Okay, for the vertical, we have already seen, right? Is it visible to you? Are my arrows visible to you guys? Yes. So you can also say, suppose, yeah. See, you can also see like in an empty board, this knight on the center makes I. This one. Let me make an I for you. See, this one. Yeah, for ice cream. Yes, yes. So it is making kind of I shape, right? Is it? Is it visible? I is visible to you or not? Yes. Okay. Actually, it makes L, but if you can see vertically, in files, we can say, or vertically, it is making an I. And for horizontally, now let's see for horizontal. Okay, I'm highlighting that with red color so that it will be more easier for you guys to understand. Right now we are going this way. So this L shape. Okay, so these 2 squares, and if we go to the left side, these 2 squares. Okay, so horizontally, this knight is making H kind of shape. Getting my point? Yes. Perfect. Yes. So actually it is L in different direction. These all are L's, but in different direction. We just move it like a clock, right? But if we can see horizontally or vertically, it is making an H or an I. Okay. Okay, perfect. So can anyone tell me how many squares a knight covers in the center? Yes, very good, Sandra. Balbir, Amit. No, not three. Yasir. I'm asking about how many square a knight covers if it is on the center of the board. I'm not asking about the value. Yes, 8. C. Yes. So these all 8 squares, these 8 squares are being covered by this knight. Yes? Okay. Now, before introducing some enemies, there is something else for you to. Suppose we have just seen a knight on the center. But what if I place the same knight not on the center but on the corner? So now there are some more knights on the chessboard, and you have to tell me. I'm going to ask you one by one, and you all have to tell me how many squares this knight covers, the highlighted knight covers. Okay. So first, this A1, the knight on A1, how many square? Yes, correct, 2. Tell me the square name also. No, no. Knight is on A1, right? But the square, the knight is covering. I'm asking about those squares that A1 knight is covering. Yes. Amit, yes. Sandra, yes. Amit, just check your answer once. You have given me the wrong answer. Okay. Yes. B3 and C2 Balbir correct. Amit, just check your answer. Sandra, B3 correct. A3 and A3 and A3 is not covering by this knight. We have to make L, L. B3 and C2. So I got maximum. Yes, now correct. Very good. B3 and obviously C2. Yes. Yasir, not C3. Knight cannot move diagonally. See, if I highlight this square, now you are able to see this is a diagonal and knight cannot move like this. Right? We just saw what we just saw. Knight makes an L shape. See. Is it? Yes, correct. Okay, no problem. So now this knight is covering 2 squares. What are they? B3 and C2. So all of you has given me the correct answer. Now tell me about the knight which is placed on B7. How many squares he's covering? Tell me. Yes. Yes, Balbir, correct. Yes, Sandra, correct. Now, yeah, just type the square names as well. B5. Yeah, sir, check it once. We have to make L. Okay. L shape. Okay, so Balbir said D6 and D8. That is correct. Yes, it is making an L. Amit sit C5, correct. A5, C5, Nishara, D6, D8, very good. C5, D6 is correct. C5 and A5 is correct. D8 is correct. A5 is correct. Okay, D6 is correct. D8 is correct. D8, D6, C5 and A5. Balveer, very good. Now see, we have to make L like before. We are going to make L. Okay, first this way, vertically. If we see vertically, this way, we can make L. So first square is this A5 and then C5. Okay, these two squares are done. Okay, now tell me, can this knight move upside, vertically upside? Yes or no? Can this knight move upside vertically? Yes, exactly. Right. No, Yasir. See, knight cannot move upside. This knight, particularly, I'm asking about this. Actually, knight can move if it is on center. But we have this limited board here. We cannot take our knight out of the board. We cannot play our knight out of the board, right? Yes. Now correct. See, we cannot move this knight. Only this knight on B7 cannot move upside. Like after this B8 square, we don't have any square on. If suppose if we have ninth rank, suppose if we have ninth rank, so this knight could go to A9 or C9, but we don't have any ninth rank. So this knight cannot move. So we should keep knight on center. Yeah. Yes. That's what I'm going to tell you. If you place your knight on the center, it will work more. It will cover the square more. Right? So this knight, the weakest knight, I could say, the weakest knight is this because it is covering only two squares. And if I'm okay, let me complete this one. Or the knight on B7, if we see horizontally, we have to make L horizontally, right? So one or two square away and then L shape. So these two are also the squares covered by this B7 knight. Now tell me about this knight on G1. Tell me how many square this knight is covering. Three. Very good. Sandra, Nishara, very good. Three. Yes. Yasir? Yes. Total number of the squares covering by this knight are 3. Tell me the notations. I mean the square name. Okay, very good, Nishara. E2, F3 and H3. Very good. So now if you can see E2, F3 and H3. These are okay. We will make L so that we will not be forgetting this thing. Okay, this knight is going to make L shape like horizontally. Okay, now this knight I'm telling you about particular this knight on G1. It can move vertically upside, but tell me, does this knight go to downside vertically? No. Yeah, because after this G1 square, we don't have any otherwise we have to go, -1, 0, and then -1, -2, but we don't have that thing on chessboard, right? So, and if we are talking about not on yeah, if this knight has to go out of the board if we try to push this knight on downside, but we are not going to do that. So see, vertically this knight is going to covering two squares, okay, and horizontally on the left side, okay, on the left side, only one square is covered by this knight. Okay, because we have this limited board, so only 3 squares are being covered by this knight and nothing. Okay, now about this knight on the center, you guys all knowing about this. So my question to you is, which is the strongest knight out of these 4? And how many squares the strongest knight is covering? How many squares? 8. Very good, very good. And tell me about the weakest knight. Weakest. A1. Very good, Nishara. Very good, Sandra. Amit. Okay. Yes. Perfect. So the weakest knight, how many squares does this weakest knight covering? Very good, Nishara, Amit. Jatin. Okay, very good. Perfect. And yes. How many squares covered by this knight? This knight on b7? 4. And how many squares covered by this knight on g1? 3. Very good. So is there any doubt? No. Okay. Okay, so should I invite our next guest? Okay, perfect. So I guess our next guest is waiting. Okay, can anyone tell me who is going to be our next guest? Perfect. Okay. Okay, so no issues. First we'll see king. Yes, so our next guest has reached. Okay, there are 2. There are 2 guests of different side, right? Yes, very good. So we'll take the introduction first, right? The name of these guests is king. Okay. Symbol, we have just kept that K for this, but this space, these spatial piece. And value, who is going to tell me the value? 3.5. Tell me the value of this piece. Unlimited, 0, 1. See, okay, many of you, I guess, are confused. What is the value of king? See, we cannot see the king has no value. Actually, king is the very important piece. You know, without king, you're not going to play any game without king, right? Not 39, nothing. The value is simply infinite. You know what is infinite? Which is not defined, right? Infinite means we uncountable or unlimited, we can say, or we cannot able to count. Okay, like we say, the power of God is infinite. We cannot judge, we cannot count, right? So the king is that powerful. So the king is that powerful. Actually, on board, he can only move 1 square away. But see, without king, we cannot play a game. Yeah, unlimited. is unlimited could be, but we generally use infinite word to tell the value of the king. Okay. So value of this piece is infinite. Like we cannot define. It is that much important to us, right? Understood? Now tell me, without king, is there any chess game we can play? No. Without king, we cannot play a chess game. Or if our king gets checkmated, so we lost the game. We simply lost the game, right? So is it an important piece or not? Yeah. Yes. It is the very, even if we don't have queen, even if we don't have rook, still game goes on. But what if we don't have king? Yes. What if we don't have king? We lose the game. We cannot play further. Game overs. Yes. Okay. So this is the most important piece of a chessboard, right? So we know about the value, symbol, and name. Now how this important piece moves. How this important piece moves. Suppose this king, let me place this king here because both the kings are very close. Yeah, one square everywhere, every direction. In every direction, this piece can go one square. Yeah, just because this is, yeah, yeah. So this is the king. And you know, in ancient time, we call, who are the kings? Yeah. In ancient times, who ruled the particular kingdom, right? Yes or no? Yes. So in any battle, in any battle, who is going to, like in the starting of the battle, who fights first, the king or the army? Yes, the army is in the front and they are protecting the king. King is not going to protect the army because king is very important. He make the laws, he make the rules, he run his own kingdom. That's why he's very important, right? He has that brain. He's very precious. So in any battle, only army is in the front and king is behind. And army is actually protecting the king, right? Now here, if you can see, these are kings from different kingdoms. They both have equal power. This king can move every direction, but only one square. And similarly, this king can move every direction, one square. Yeah, total number of squares covered by a king is 8. Right. But suppose, okay, one more question I have. But suppose, what if both, suppose these two, there are two kings, okay, kingdoms. There is a battle between two kings, okay. Now see, suppose all the army, they lost all the army, okay. No one is left, but both the kings are alive on the battlefield, right? Only two or three, maybe two or three army. Yeah, yeah, perfect. So they can, yeah, draw. Okay, suppose if there some army, very few people are left from both the sides, Yeah, draw. But suppose if there are two okay, another question. Suppose white king has an army man, okay, and that army man has to go in another king's kingdom. Okay, so would white king helping that army man or not? Because on the opponent side, the black king is waiting to kill that army man. Yes. So in the last, or we can say in the end game, king can also move. King can also act like a piece. Right? Okay. Also, one more thing. Suppose these two kings are placed like that. My question to you is, can this white king moves this way on d5 square right now? No. Why? Yeah. Yes. This king cannot move to d5 square. Yes. Just because this king, this another king, they both cannot move. They both cannot come closer to each other. King cannot come closer to each other. Always there will be a distance of 1 square or more, 1 or more square. Okay. Yes. We have to maintain that gap between the kings. King cannot come near to each other. Right? Because they are opponent. Obviously, if they were friends, they can come, but they are not friends. They are the opponents, like enemies. They are enemies, so they don't like to come near to each other. They don't want to see each other's face. Right? Getting my point? So we have to maintain 1 square, at least a distance of minimum 1 square. 1 and more, it is applicable, but at least 1 square distance would be there. Okay, now another guest is waiting. King is clear to everyone? Yes or no? Yeah. So now, obviously, our last, the guest is waiting for us. So, yes, exactly. Everyone knows who is going to be there. So this time, I'm having some guests. And this time we have many guests. Right? Okay, so like before, we are going to take an introduction, a small introduction about those. Yeah. So first of all, the name. PAWN, pawn. PONE, name. PAWN is the correct spelling. The name of this guest is pawn. Symbol. Symbol. Okay. There is no any symbol for pawn. No, not P. Nothing. Nothing. No symbol. We are going to write the square notation, or we can say square names for these pawns. We don't use P. Okay. So I would write square names. Pawns are denoted by these square names. Okay. So suppose, see that A2 is square, there is a pawn. So if that pawn moves 1 square, we can only write A3, not PA3. Okay. Okay, value. Yes, Yasir, correct. Nishara, correct. Jatin, no, not 2. It's 1. Balbir, yes. Now correct, 1. Yes, Jatin, 1. So everyone knows, yes, Sandra, it's 1. It's only 1. Okay, so the introduction is very simple. The name of this piece is pawn. Symbol is nothing. We just use square names, and in the value is 1. The smallest piece we can say, but it can be very dangerous because it can when it reaches the last square, it can be any piece, either queen, either rook, either knight, bishop, anything. It can be anyone except pawn or king. Except what? Pawn or king. It cannot remain pawn when it reaches the last square. So I guess you know about this, but still we are going to see what kind of guest we are having. So name, symbol, and value, you know how it moves and how it captures the pieces. We are going to know about this. Okay, so all the pawns are arranged in their initial position. So when they are on their initial, or I can say starting position, right? They can move 2 squares or 1 squares. The choice is theirs. They have that special power when they are at the second rank for white. Yeah, 1 square or 2 square move they can play. Okay, and this is for one time only. If suppose if one pawn has moved, suppose this e pawn has moved once, now this pawn cannot make 2 square moves. Now it is only moving 1 or 1. And similarly for black, because they all are at the initial position, these all are at their initial position, and from initial position they can move 2 squares or 1 squares. The choice is yours. But after moving the pawn, you have if you have moved one pawn, any pawn, it loses that property of moving 2 squares. Okay, is that clear, or should I repeat? Okay, Nishara, perfect. So yes, so tell me, what is the starting rank? What is the starting rank of the white pawn? In which rank the pawns are arranged in the starting for white? Second rank. Very good, Jatin. Very good, Sandra. Sandra, I'm asking about the starting rank. Starting rank. When we arrange the chessboard, on which file we place pawn? Second rank. Very good. And what about black? On which rank we place? Yeah, we arrange black pawns. Yes, 7th. Very good. So from second rank, if white's pawn is on second rank, it has that power to choose either 2 square or 1 square. And for blacks, it is same. If the black on 7th rank, the black pawn on 7th rank, it is having that choice to move either 2 square or 1 square. Okay, so suppose black has moved this pawn, e4, e5. Now tell me in a small question, tell me an answer for this question. Can this pawn on e4 capture this? Yes or no? No. Very good, very good, very good. Very good. Okay. So, or can this pawn, can I move this pawn further like this? No, yes. Very good. We cannot move. Now, see, there is a pawn on e4. Now my opponent placed his pawn on e5. Now these both pawns are blocked. Blocked. Now no one can move further. Yeah. Now pawn moves like straight. Okay, pawn moves straight, but cannot capture straight. It can capture diagonally, one square diagonally. Okay. So suppose if white plays this, suppose white plays f4. Now tell me, this pawn is capturing this or not? Yes, very good, Sandra. Very good, Jatin, Nishara, Amit. Very good. This pawn is capturing, e5 pawn is capturing f4 pawn because it is on diagonal, but not this e4 pawn. E4 pawn is blocking that black pawn to come further, but f4 pawn is allowing that e5 pawn to capture, right? So pawn can move straight but attack diagonally, both the way. Like suppose black plays this, something like this, and white plays this. So this pawn on e5 can capture both in both direction. Like now white has given you the choice to capture either pawn, right? Okay. Is it clear to you? Very good. And suppose if we reach, suppose capturing happens, and suppose, for example, now tell me, what if I place this pawn to there? See, when my pawn reaches to the last rank, for white the last rank is 8th rank, and for black the last rank is what? Tell me. For black, yes, very good. The last rank is 1st rank for black, and for white the last rank is 8th rank. So now I just placed my pawn on the 8th rank, but now this pawn would cannot remain a pawn. It has to be promoted, right? So like when we do a good task, when we do a task properly, so we got promotion, right? So this pawn has reached to the last rank. That means that pawn has done his work very nicely. So he should be having the promotion. So we can make either queen, rook, bishop, or knight, whatever you want to make. Okay. So it will promote. And now you know about queen, how it moves, how it captures. Yes or no? King. See, king, we both see, king is the very important piece. That's why the value is infinite, right? We cannot make two kings. Okay, tell me, has anyone seen Mahabharat or something like that, or ancient time of movies of ancient times in which there are king, queen, army, and kingdoms, many things, Okay, so for a kingdom, there is always a one king or two king. Tell me, how many kings are there in a kingdom? One king, only one. Did you ever see two kings ruling on one kingdom? No. Exactly. Because king is very important. Just like that in chess, I told you the chessboard is our battlefield. All the pawns are our army. Knight, queen, bishop, and rook is our army. And the king is the most important piece. So pawn could be promoted, right? Pawn could be promoted, but it cannot be the king of the kingdom in which we are already having one king, right? Got my point, Sandra? Why don't we make king? Yes, good. So that's why we don't make king. Okay, so we just have seen, we just met all of our guests: king, queen, rook, bishop, knight, pawns, right? Now we are aware about their symbol, values. Okay, so one interesting thing that I promised to tell you guys. Are you ready to see that? Very good. First of all, we'll start it with our very first guest, which was rook, right? So as we all know, the value of this piece is, what is the value of this piece? Tell me quickly. Yes, Amit, 5. The value is 5. I have written. Okay, very good. Now your task is, our task, okay, this is our task, is to count all the squares covered by this rook. Count this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, right? 14 squares. Okay, if we add 1 and 4 of this 14 number, if we add 4, 1 and 4, what number we get? What number we get? Tell me. 5. Exactly. See, we just count all the, yes. Very good. See, what we have done, we have count all the squares covered by this piece, and it comes out that this is covering 14 squares. We did nothing, we just add both the numbers. We considered that number separately and we just add, and we got this 5. That's how this value has came. Okay, now next guest. Let me tell you about the next guest. Just a moment. Okay, so our next guest is queen. Let's say queen. Okay. Okay, for queen, you can even do it by yourself, but okay, we'll do it together. See, how many square this queen is covering? Can anyone count? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Very good. Everyone has got the answer, 27. But still 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, now if we add this 2 and 7, what number we get? 9. Exactly 9. Very good. What is the value of this piece? Very good. So the value of this piece is 9. This piece is covering total 27 squares, right? Right? 27 square. And if we add those 2 and 7 numbers, we get the sum 9. Isn't it interesting? Tell me if it is interesting. Very good. But now, there is a different story with bishop and knight. When I was a kid, when I was learning the basics, my mom told me about this thing. Right? Now, let me just tell you the different story of bishop and knight. Queen and rook is done. About pawn, you all know pawn can move only one square or capture on one square. So the value of that pawn is only 1. But now here we have what we have, bishop and knight. Okay, so let me just arrange. Okay, so we have bishop and knight on the board. Are you able to see bishop and knight? Okay, the problem with these pieces, because they both have same value, right? So we are going to count the value for like both the pieces together. We'll place both the piece together and count the value. Okay, now how many squares are covered by this bishop? Tell me, count. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. Okay, 13. And what about knight? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? Okay, yes. So bishop is covering 13 squares and knight is covering 8 squares. If we add both of both of the squares which are covered by if we add all the squares which are being covered by both of the pieces, what is the number we are getting? 21. Yes, exactly, 21. Okay, now add 2 and 1, we got 3. But as we have we have added all the squares covered by both bishop and knight, and we got the value 3. So we have to distribute this value to both of them. We cannot give 3 to bishop only. We cannot able to give 3 knight only, because there is a contribution of knight and bishop both. So that's why we have to give this value to both. So value of both the pieces is, the value of both the pieces are 3, right? We have just counted the covering squares. Bishop covers how many squares? 13. And similarly, knight covers how many squares? 8, right? Okay, if we add them, so total squares kitne ho gaye? How many? Right, 21 total squares. Perfect. And if we add 2 plus 1, we got 3. And that's how this came. Okay, is it clear? Is it funny or is it interesting or not? So that's how I got to learn, I got to know about the value of the pieces when I was a kid like you, when I was learning about chess. And Very few people know about this. Yes, I know. Very few people know about this thing. Only my mom. My mom was actually a chess player in her time. She was very good chess player. And when I was learning, she taught me this. Just to know, just to remember the values of the pieces. I found it interesting. And actually, the logic is very correct. I found the logic is also correct. That's how the value came, I guess. I'm not sure, but yeah. So this is for today. Okay, so what we have done so far, can anyone tell me from the starting? Everyone. Mm-hmm. File, rank, notation. Yes. Where are diagonals? File, rank, diagonals, and notation. Mm-hmm. Yes, Balbir and anyone? Piece name, symbol, value, moves, pieces. Yes, about our guess. Yes, values, very good. Yes. Okay, if anyone is having any doubt, yes, promotion. If anyone having doubt can ask, can write the question related to the thing we have done today. If any of you is having doubt in this thing, you can ask. Movement of pieces, yes. We have done movement of pieces, promotion, values, correct. Files, ranks, diagonals, squares. that that is like, I don't know. I even don't know. Like, night move is so awkward. I found it really interesting actually, not awkward. We have some like whenever we have so many people, out of them we have one member, or we can say one person who is extraordinary, who can move like, who is very different, right? See, bishop and rook. Queen moves similar like bishop and rook, right? But knight is very different. He's a different kind of, he can even jump jump over the pieces, right? Pawn moves to in the initial position. This question is actually, um, I cannot answer it because I didn't make this game. The person who made this game knows. Like, actually, the two in this, pawn moves, this two square move of pawn, it is internationally accepted on the year 1208 in Spain, and then it becomes a rule. Like, internationally we can move pawn when they are on their initial position, they can move either two or one square. Yes. Yes, it is a rule. You can even move two squares or one square. That's totally, that is totally on you. No, yeah. Nice question, Yasser. Very nice question. Pawn cannot move back. Cannot move back. It can only be moving forward, not reverse. Okay. See. Uh, Let me arrange once. Okay, so I have arranged 2 pawns here. See, there are 2 pawns. Okay, perfect. White pawn can move to d4 to d5, right? It can go further, but not backward. It cannot come backward. Similarly, black pawn, the pawn on f5 can move to f4, but cannot go back to f4 again. That's why we have to think. We have to think very much when we are making pawn moves. Okay. Any more questions? Perfect. Perfect. Very good. Okay, so how was this session? Do you like this? Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy knowing about the basics of chess? Also, the interesting fact behind that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so
I
much.
enjoyed a lot, and I was watching so much interaction with the students. So amazing guys, and amazing Aditi for such an interactive session. And I guess everyone has answered that yes, they have
Yes.
enjoyed. Um, and so for those of you who want the certificate for this class, you have to attend tomorrow's class as well. And after that, you will receive an online test on email. Once you submit the test, you will be receiving certificate after passing in 24 hours. So you will receive certificate only if you pass the exam. And Aditi, wonderful class, amazing interaction with everyone.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be seeing more of you as we go forward, mostly like next week as well. We'll be having one more session, and tomorrow we already have the session. Okay. Thank you guys, and thank you, Aditi, once again. We'll see you tomorrow.